they're saying.
What do you think they'd sound like?
I think like something like
Ew. Oh, I don't like it.
that's the sound of growing.
I think that's it, Brian. Yeah. That's what mushrooms sound like. What if they were like this?
This is so good for the ears.
The majority of the stuff we're going to be talking about today is coming straight from our Discord.
Sweet.
We got a lot of cool folks over on our Discord. If you want to join the conversation over there, you can even help produce the podcast by giving us Feel Good Friday content. The link is in the show notes. Don't sneeze. Don't do that when I'm plugging the Discord. Thanks. Really excited to get into it. But before we do, I got two announcements. Number one, guys, I was on another podcast.
I just started listening to it. It's really good.
Bad Dad, Rad Dad.
It's really good.
Brand new podcast. Two friends that I just recently made. They live out in Edmonton. They started a movie review podcast. Such an oversaturated podcast lane that they decided to dive into. But I got to say, they're really fucking nailing it. It is it's a podcast all about movies, but Kylie and Elliot, the two hosts, they have a sordid history with their fathers. And so the idea of the show is they watch 5 movies a week together. It's always a mystery.
That's a lot.
So it is. So the funny thing is they've been doing this for years anyway. But they decided, why don't we make a podcast out of it? So they have this thing called Mystery Movie Nights. And Kylie will pick a movie without Elliot knowing what it is. The next movie, Elliot will choose a movie. Kylie doesn't know what it is. And they don't know until the movie starts and the opening credits come. And, they review the podcast. On the podcast, they review the 5 movies that they watched that week. And then they try to figure out, they nominate a bad dad of the week and a rad dad of the week. And the bad dad is like a dad that you would never want to have. And the rad dad is like, who out of the characters of the movies we watch would we love to have be our dad?
The thing that I love about it too is it doesn't have to be a dad in the movie. It's just dad energy.
It's right. So their whole tagline is "Dad is not a gender. Dad is an energy."
Yeah.
I
love that.
Yeah,
Totally agree.
So
I love that for them.
So they asked me to I asked them if I could be on their show because I love it so much, and they graciously allowed me to be a guest. And we watched 5 movies, and we reviewed them all. The episode dropped yesterday, so you can listen to it now anywhere you find podcasts. Bad Dad, Rad Dad. Please go take a listen. I mean, not even just to my episode, but to all of them. They're really fun. And if you're a movie lover, you'll really love it. And if you're not a movie lover, it will make you love movies.
I agree. Yeah. I'm not going to go into it, but I would basically helped make the movies a secret for you.
You did, yeah.
And
which we talked about in the episode.
In that very small piece of insight into their podcast, I was like, one, these people fucking love movies.
Yeah, they do.
They're
they're my people. Yeah.
And 2, just hearing them talk about movies made me love those movies too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, totally recommend
Jerry,
it.
I always wanted to start a movie podcast.
Dude, you know what, man?
It is so oversaturated. But it's
so
like
oversaturated. We should just do it for fun.
I know, right? Because I more so just want to do it to talk movies. Like I'm not even. It's not. I mean, I don't want to do it with you, Brad. So like.
Yeah, no, I was going to say,
it's just you and me.
Let me be a part of it, but teach me how to love movies. Teach me how to love movies.
That's the other. That's a good
angle.
That is the angle.
It could be like,
can you teach someone to love movies?
The Scaredy Cat one.
I think you can. I think you can.
Where I feel like I want to love movies. I started watching Severance, you guys, and
there you go.
Television. What do you think?
Really
what do you think?
I love Ben Stiller's work, and I love the art direction of it.
Yeah. It's so weird.
Only watched the first episode.
You know what, Bri? Whenever I watch the intro to Severance, I think, Bri would really appreciate this animation.
Yeah.
It has Walter Mitty vibes too, obviously.
Yeah, it does,
Ben Stiller, but
so yeah, Bad Dad, Rad Dad, go check it out. They drop episodes once a week every Thursday. They're great, and please support them because they're just starting out. And of course, if we know anything about starting a podcast, it's the early days are always such a trudge, and so it would be great to give them some support. And again, I selfishly listen to me on there, but also I fucking love the show. So like I really do think it's a great podcast. Otherwise, I wouldn't have asked them to be on it. And then my second announcement is this: really sad news coming out of Halifax this week. There were 2 young gentlemen that were swept up into the ocean at Peggy's Cove. Peggy's Cove, if you're not familiar, is a pretty big tourist destination here. Very beautiful part of the coast just outside of Halifax. Kind of an iconic Nova Scotia visiting spot for people from out of town. And there's a lot of signs out there, and the signs very explicitly state, do not go on a certain portion of the rocks. If the rocks are, a darker color, don't stand there because it's very likely that you could slip or be, or a wave could hit you and be pulled out into the ocean. And unfortunately, this is exactly what happened to a couple of these young men, and one of them died in the water. And the other one, I still don't know exactly what's going on, but they're in critical condition. They might not make it. So I know that a lot of our listeners outside of Nova Scotia, I know a lot of people are like planning to come out this way, and everybody that comes to Nova Scotia, if they've never been here, always somehow find themselves at Peggy's Cove because everyone recommends it. So if you're coming out this way and you're going to go check out that very beautiful piece of land, please fucking abide those signs. Do not go on the rocks that you shouldn't be going on to, because it's a fucking travesty what happened this week. And
I wonder also how many people I wonder how many. I feel like somebody dies every year.
It happens. It happens a lot.
The last one was 2016, but the year before that, in 2015, it happened as well.
Yeah. So
it's it happens. Yeah. Far more than it should. Yeah. Especially given the fact that there's so much signage and people constantly warning people to not do that. So.
Yeah. It's like you really got to respect the ocean because the ocean's not going to respect you. And that part of the province, that little coast there is very very beautiful, but extraordinarily dangerous if you're take one small step.
We chatted about that the other day, about how if you're not from the coast, it can be hard to appreciate how erratic the waves can be. Like you can be looking at the water hitting the rocks and go, oh, it's pretty calm, and the water's not ripping up high on the rocks, and then 2 seconds later, that water can go 100 feet in the air and drench the rocks and swipe somebody right out. And if you're not used to that, then it's hard to understand how serious those signs are.
And all that is to say is come to Nova Scotia, like come here and visit the province. It's beautiful, and go there and watch those waves. But just
buy real estate and push the real estate higher and higher. Because I'm a property owner, so you're doing me a favor.
Don't stay. Just come and visit.
So like I said earlier, a lot of the stuff that we're going to be talking about today's episode is coming from our lovely Discord community. This one's coming from Jill on Discord. This is a wild title. Okay. The title of this article, Time Jump. Scientists say they can reverse aging of skin cells by 30 years.
Oh, shit. This is some David Sinclair shit.
I'm just saying, how do you guys think I look so young? I know all about this.
All that adrenochrome.
Brian's been Benjamin Buttoning this motherfucker since 1989.
Dude, Brian, if you took on this technique that I'm about to read about, you would look like you just can't. You would look like Taylor's newborn baby.
And her skin is so soft.
It is, but she's got acne right now because they get like a baby. They get there's like an estrogen withdrawal. Creates a, like, she looks like she's a 13-year-old who needs Accutane.
Whoa, for real.
So UK scientists say they have developed a new technique capable of rewinding the aging of skin cells by about 30 years. So think about that. I'm 34. Taylor, you're 31?
31, yep.
And Bri, you're 32? 32 turning 33?
Yeah.
So if we did this, I would look 4. I would look like a giant 4-year-old. Taylor, you'd look like a giant 1-year-old, and Brian, you'd look like a giant 3-year-old to be. Published in the Journal of E Life, researchers from the Babraham Institute's epigenetics research program say in a news release that they partly restored the function of older cells without losing their specialized function. These partially rejuvenated cells also showed signs of behaving more like youthful cells. While still in its early stages, they say the research, if replicated in other cell types, could have implications for regenerative medicine and create cells that are better at healing wounds. That's fucking wild. Quote, our results represent a big step forward in our understanding of cell reprogramming. Postdoctoral researcher Diljit Gill, who conducted the work as a PhD student, said in a statement, quote, we have proved that cells can be rejuvenated without losing their function, and that rejuvenation looks to restore some function to old cells. The fact that we also saw a reverse of aging indicators in genes associated with diseases is particularly promising for the future of this work.
Is this guy like, this is cool? Like on the surface, this is cool. Is this scary as fuck in this sort of idea that this technology down the road could lead to humans living forever?
No, I don't think so. I think this would more so have an application for like, again, total speculation and like bro science here, but I feel like this could have implications on like reducing skin cancer, you know, like
for sure,
like turning like basically making skin cancer.
But that is what's going to push. That is what's going to push. I mean,
but it won't push us to live forever.
No, not forever, but it's going to drastically push up life expectancy because it's like if you live to be a certain age, it's like there's like a 75% chance that you'll get cancer or higher. It's insane.
I want to clarify, like, so what I mean, and like, obviously this isn't just like one, like, you know, one generation down the road. I'm saying like 5 or 10 generations down the road. Does this mean that like we can reverse the age of skin cells? What if we could reverse the age of, you know, insert other cell, insert other cell, insert other cell to the point where we're reducing the age and function of all of the cells in the body, where at that point it's just like every 30 years you just go in and get this like injection or like, you know,
it's like that concept
that makes you not age.
It's like that concept that we talked about with with Keith about I can't remember what it was called, but it was the idea that if you can introduce a technology or a technique or something that allows you to push your life expectancy out by a certain amount, then that almost guarantees that within that time that you've now gained, more technology will be created and invented to further push out your life expectancy, which then makes it more likely that in that extra time, then something else will be invented, and so on and so forth, until life expectancy is pushed out to like an indefinite period of time, because you're like stockpiling life-saving techniques over and over. You know, like remember when I texted you guys the other day and I was like, I think about numbers all the time, but I just saw this thing and I had to do the math on it because it's fucking crazy. But if I just saw this thing that if you were to make $10,000 a day every day for the past 5,000 years, you would have 15% of Elon Musk's net worth. And it's like you just end up having so much that you can never get rid of it.
Yeah, and I mean that percentage could change depending on if he buys Twitter or not.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, it's crazy. So I want to ask you guys, like, imagine the world where, like, let's get into a bit of a philosophical question. Imagine the world where you could live forever. So there's this like readily available treatment where you could go every 30 years and not just reduce or revert the age of your skin cells, but revert all the ages of all the cells in your body to the point where every 30 years you do this treatment and you never age beyond, you know, your chosen
40.
date.
Yeah, right.
Do people then?
What would be your age? What would be your age
to live at for?
Yeah. That you would go, I don't want to get past this.
I think like I feel like sort of like the age I am now, like around 32, maybe like mid 30s, somewhere between mid 20s to mid 30s.
Sorry, what? What do you mean?
If you could live at a certain age forever.
Like Brian's saying, you could like go in for this treatment and like revert yourself back a certain amount, and like so really you'd never really like get outside of the age. I mean, your age is going to be the same, but you're physiologically you don't really ever leave the stage of like your 36-year-old body. Like, what would be your age?
As long as my mind can continue to mature, because I'm fucking infinitely smarter at 31 than I was at 27. But like 27, I think was probably an optimal health age.
Right, but if this treatment also reverts your cognitive function, so you become like when you take the pill and you go back to 25, like in your body, you're also 25 in your fucking dumb head.
Yeah.
So like
right. Yeah. Okay. Well, then that's harder, because then it's now. It's wherever you are now. Because I can't. Because I don't ever look back and go, I'm dumber now than I was before.
No. It's severance, but you go back to like 25 and you still remember everything up to 25. Yeah. But every time you live that like Groundhog Day,
I think I would choose 36. I'm not there yet, but right now, I feel the best I've ever felt in my life.
Yeah.
And I do know that like with like. I've heard a lot of men specifically say like they've felt more at their prime in their late 30s than they had in their like 20s. And so I feel like I like the way physiologically I like the way my body is like feeling right now, and like I like just the constitution of my body and like all those things. So I feel like 36 would be, and also I kind of like the little gray hairs that I have. Like I don't have a lot, but there's a little in there.
And you know what?
Cool.
Distinguished.
There are some guys that I ride with. Like some of the guys that hold it down the hardest are like 40-ish. Like they've been doing it. They've been building their cardiovascular, their endurance system for so long that they are like they're at 40. And you see this with a lot of like Ironman athletes. That are in their like upper 30s, early 40s that are just killing it, and they're just so fucking fit. But the context that's missing.
Yeah, they're strong. These men are strong men. Yeah.
Within the context of what you've the boundaries that you've set this, which is that your intellect also reverts if you go back. Then
I added that just to be stupid, but
that makes it very hard, because then then you've got to think about like at what point do I
36,
think
dude. 36.
I will become completely stubborn to new ideas.
Yeah, and boomer age. You just don't want to become a boomer.
Like that's the time, because then if you're not going to progress intellectually, then that's where you've got to be. Because I think I'd rather be intellectual than physically.
When I turn 37. I'm fucking stuck. Like that's it. I'm not changing my mind on a fucking thing. But up to 36, I feel like I'm pretty malleable, and I'll kind of like I'll bend. But 37, I'm rigid as shit.
Okay. But so imagine like, because I really like, so what we're talking about, with your cognitive, sort of your memory reverting to. That is less realistic than I think the real possibility.
This whole fucking
like,
thing is stupid.
But I think
no, man, dude. David Sinclair, like if you like, this is shit that David Sinclair has been talking about for years.
No, it is true. It is true. I know.
But what I want to actually say is, so I think one of the great philosophical questions at that time is like, how do we die then? Right? Like, so like you're able to keep your body alive by continuing to go in and like have this treatment.
You get hit by a car.
So is that it?
Trauma.
Is that
Trauma's
it? We just sort of like you're like now
blunt force trauma.
Now you'll only die by being in some type of accident, or
that's it.
Or do we eventually get to a point where there's opt-in death, like a medical assistance in dying process for somebody who's like, I'm just done. Like
Oh, dude, that would be it. That would definitely be a thing. If we could live forever, there would definitely be a thing where it's like, hey, if you're done, we get it.
Yeah. So if you like, what would your age be then?
To be like, I'm done.
Opt in to being done.
Oh, like my actual age.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's so individual, because like
that's why I'm asking you guys.
200. I'm 200. I'm good. I'm good. I'm fucking good.
I feel like, even though I don't have that, like, I want to live forever, because I feel like, because we had this conversation the other day, death provides meaning to life.
Yeah.
But if I if we did live forever, I'd be like, well, I can do that. I can live forever because I'm infinitely curious. I could fill that space. But there are tons of people that do not feel like they can fill that space.
I was about to say that I would tap out the day that the Leafs win the cup, but then I realized that I would never be able to die. Because that day literally will never happen. So I really don't know.
I think 10,000 for me, like around 10,000.
Ew, fucking fuck.
How do you even wrap your head around that idea?
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to go like, all right, I'm gonna take like a cryo nap for like 700 years, but like
it feels like it's still forever to me, but also
that is forever, dude.
But it feels like there's still a finite number of years.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know.
The article goes on to say the researchers say one of the most important tools in regenerative biology is the ability to create induced stem cells, which involves erasing some of the markers that make a cell specialized. Rather than entirely erasing the identity of cells in their study, however, the researchers used a new method called maturation phase transient reprogramming based on a Nobel Prize winning technique to make stem cells.
Of course.
The new method halts reprogramming partway through, allowing the scientists to make the cells biologically younger while still allowing them to regain their specialized function. In this case, further analysis showed the cells regained markers characteristic of skin cells or fibroblasts and produced more collagen proteins used to provide structure to tissue or help heal wounds than cells that did not undergo the reprogramming process. The scientists then tested the rejuvenated cells by creating an artificial cut in a layer of cells in a dish. The experiment found that treated fibroblasts moved into the gap faster than old cells. Not only did the reprogrammed cells, quote, time jump by 30 years, the researchers say the method has also had an effect on other genes linked to age-related diseases, such as Alzheimer's and cataracts. Quote, the work has very exciting implications, said Professor Wolf Reich, who led the research. Quote, eventually, we may be able to identify genes that rejuvenate without reprogramming and specifically target those to reduce the effects of aging. This approach holds promise for valuable discoveries that could open up an amazing therapeutic horizon.
Yeah,
like living forever.
I mean, you know.
Well, it's the beginning of that. Like, not to beat the horse of David Sinclair to death, but I've heard him talk a lot about the ability that we have now to treat like degenerative eyes, like just how your eyes just get worse over time. I mean, everything in your body gets worse over time, but your eyes are something that you can notice a little bit more.
You can see.
Yeah, you can see it happen, and that they can basically make your eyes younger, and that's not a hard thing to do. And that it is really that technology that they use in that treatment that they want to expand into other parts of the body.
Jared, do you think Tay's a closet foreverist? Because like the way that he talks about David Sinclair, it's like he's been like really
drinking the juice.
Yeah.
Well, because it's not living forever. It's the health span versus lifespan thing.
Yes. Yeah.
It's
honestly,
I'd be totally fine with lifespan not changing a day from where it is now on average, but health span going like pushing towards that.
But one can't happen without the other. Like they're so linked. I do believe. I was just listening. There's this podcast that I listen to pretty much every single night. Like I put it on to go to bed, and it's called The End of the World with Josh Clark. He's one of the hosts of Stuff You Should Know. Very like one of the most long running, most successful podcasts of all time. And he has this really incredible series that he did. It was a one-time 9-episode series about existential events. So, he does a whole episode, and what's really interesting is that this was pre-COVID. This came out like 4 or 5 years ago. But he has an episode on all of the like existential events that we are literally staring down the barrel of that could happen at any moment.
Can we guess what they are? Like asteroid hit.
Yeah, so he talks about like natural disasters, so asteroids or super volcanoes, or and let me just clarify, an existential event would be an event that that would wipe out the human race as we know it.
So then you would have viruses.
So he did a whole. This is a really interesting part. This is what I was going to get to. He does a whole. Each one is its own episode. So he has natural events like asteroids. He has an episode on
war.
No, not on war, but he has one on viruses, and he does this whole thing about gain of function research, and talks about how we could one day like be a part of a pandemic from a virus that was like manufactured in a lab, and
in Wuhan,
fucking 3 years later, we're looking at potentially exactly that, if not the lab, then an actual pandemic.
The virus is a misinformation campaign from the government.
The other
wait, hold on. Did the virus one come out 3 years before?
This all came out, like the whole series came out like 5 years ago.
Was the last one that we want to bring back dinosaurs on an island and have it as a theme park?
Yeah. That was a full episode of its own. Here, let me bring up the show here. So he's got, it's such an incredible series. So the first episode, he talks about the Fermi paradox. So like this, the belief or the thought of like, why haven't we seen evidence
filter
of other living creatures like outside of Earth? The second episode is about the Great Filter. So what that whole theory of thought is about. So then he goes into natural risks. Artificial intelligence is another potential existential crisis. Biotechnology, so that's getting into like viruses, created viruses, things that could fuck us up that way. Physics experiments, so like CERN like accidentally creating a black hole and like fucking ending it all.
Nuclear fission, like fission, we do fusion, but we don't do fission because it's but it's much more powerful. But if you had an accident, if you had a fission accident, or sorry, no, we do fission, we don't do fusion. Sorry, I should say that's the other way around.
And then he has a couple of, so he has an episode about embracing catastrophe and then like this like basically an end episode that like kind of encapsulates everything. But he also has this really interesting episode about simulation argument. So like the idea that like we are actually just all living in a simulation. It's fucking incredible. But one of the things that he said in one of the episodes was he was talking about how right now we are living in a time where in maybe 40 years we could be staring at we could be in a place where all of us have this option to sign up for this program where we take a pill, and that pill goes down into our belly. And when the pill dissolves, the stomach acids flood inside that pill, and the change in pH and the temperature activates hundreds and hundreds of thousands of these nanobots, and these nanobots release into our body, and they go around and they clear the plaque off our out of our organs, and they make a more clear pathway to the synapses of our brains,
like a little custodial team.
Exactly.
Like fucking
and basically, as soon as you take that pill, you are guaranteed, all right, we have now extended your life expectancy by 130 years. And this is not him saying like, I'm speculating, imagining this is the thing. He's going, we have the data right now is if we keep going the direction we're going, this is far more than just a possibility. Like this is really like where we are headed when it comes to nanotechnology.
That's
and
cool.
Medicine, right? Fucking really cool. So anyway, this conversation just reminded me.
Would you take it?
Oh fuck yeah, dude! I would take that. Yeah.
Tell you, would
Dude,
you take it?
Absolutely. This is like the idea of like, would you take it or would you not? I mean, all things considered, or all things assumed that safe, effective, like as safe and effective as it is to take ibuprofen for a headache. You know what I'm saying? Then then why wouldn't you? It's like
Well,
it's like when you have this, it's like that it's almost like someone going like, yeah, I think I'll just ride a horse instead of get a car. Like why why
Get a Tesla.
Well, what if you were vegan and the pill was made with meat products?
Like
Dude,
my pills.
Don't even.
Well, then you couldn't. You
there are
wouldn't take,
sacrifices
Kyla wouldn't take it.
that there are
Kyla-
sacrifices, dude.
No. When you're vegan, you can't. You can't.
Dude, that
Then you're not.
is-
No, but then you're no longer vegan. So
dude,
what's
you
your
can't-
identity then?
You gotta just
No.
you gotta just stop that.
No, you
Yeah,
can't. You
that's-
can't. Well, you just can't take the pill. So, moving on here. This is a fucking crazy story. This is coming from Stina. Thank you, Stina, over on our Discord. Again, if you want to join the conversation, link is in the description here. Mushrooms communicate with each other using up to 50 words, scientists claim.
Whoa! How does that? How
Wait,
do you?
yeah,
how
yeah,
do you know that?
Well, let's find out.
I love that because like when you were like mushrooms communicate with, like I was like, yeah, we know this
with the mycelium.
With language, dude.
50 words.
Yeah. Professor
Whoa.
theorizes electrical impulses sent by mycological, thank you, organisms could be similar to human language. Thank myself.
Did
Okay.
you say thank you to your own brain?
Yeah, I know. I went, Brian, did you correct him? I didn't correct him.
Buried in forest litter or sprouting from trees, fungi might give the impression of being silent and relatively self-contained organisms, but a new study suggests they may be I actually don't know this word. Do you
Championing?
know that word?
No, I don't know the word.
Cha-
It's like
Champign-
looks like champignon.
Champignon communicators.
Honestly, it looks like the French word for mushrooms.
Let's look this up.
Yeah,
What is
champignon. Champignon
Yeah,
is,
it is.
champignon.
No,
I found it, but it's literally only in
champignon.
French on Wikipedia, so
Yeah.
that doesn't help me at all.
It is the
I
French
think
word for
I think
mushroom,
it's mushroom. Yeah.
But
They may be
in the context,
mushroom communicators. Mathematical analysis of the electrical signals fungi seemingly send to one another has identified patterns that bear a striking structural similarity to human speech. Previous research has suggested that fungi conduct electrical impulses through long underground filamentous structures called hyphae, similar to how nerve cells transmit information in humans. It is even shown that the firing rate of these impulses increases when the hyphae of wood-digesting fungi come into contact with wooden blocks, raising the possibility that fungi use this electrical, quote, language to share information about food or injury with distant parts of themselves, or with hyphae-connected partners such as trees. But do these trains of electrical activity have anything in common with human language? To investigate, Professor Andrew Adamatsky at the University of West of England's Unconventional Computing Laboratory in Bristol analyzed the patterns of electrical spikes generated by 4 species of fungi: enoki, split gill, ghost, and caterpillar fungi. He did this by inserting tiny microelectrodes into substrates colonized by their patchwork of hyphae threads, their mycelia. Quote, "We do not know if there is a direct relationship between spiking patterns in fungi and human speech. Possibly not. On the other hand, there are many similarities in information processing in living substrates of different classes, families, and species. So I was just curious to compare." The research published in the Royal Society Open Science found that these spikes often clustered into trains of activity resembling vocabularies of up to 50 words, and that the distribution of these fungal word lengths closely matched those of human languages. Split gills, which grow on decaying wood, and whose fruiting bodies resemble undulating waves of tightly packed coral, generated the most complex sentences of all. The most likely reason for these waves of electrical activity are to maintain the fungi's integrity. Analogous to wolves howling to maintain the integrity of the pack, or to report newly discovered sources of attractants and repellents to other parts of their mycelia. Quote, there is also another option. They are saying nothing, he said. Propagating mycelium tips are electrically charged, and therefore, when the charged tip passes in a pair of differential electrodes, a spike in the potential difference is recorded. Whatever these, quote, spiking events represent, they do not appear to be random, he added. Even so, other scientists would like to see more evidence before they are willing to accept them as a form of language. Other types of pulsing behavior has previously been recorded in fungal networks, such as pulsing nutrient transport, possibly caused by rhythmic growth as fungi forage for food.
I mean, it's not that crazy of a concept in the sense that, like, okay, so think about not mushrooms for a second. Think about like trees or grass or things like this. Like, I think we generally accept that those organisms communicate with one another, right?
And I think it's more impressive that it's not speech. It's more impressive that it's like they're speaking in some other fucking
like
thing.
Telepathy.
Yeah. But it's
tree telepathy.
Well, what it really is by
telepathy.
It's explaining that it's really happening through electrical
signals,
impulse, signals. And
if you've seen if you've seen that Paul Stamets doc, I mean, fuck, you would believe that mushrooms are going to take over the world.
Fantastic fungi.
Totally, yeah. And so, but the other thing that I think is interesting is that, you know, they've identified, 50, they said, sort of different forms of those spikes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we only have 26 letters in the alphabet, but think about how many words we have. So, like, it's not even hard to believe that they're not just saying 50 different things. They could be saying in combination with those 50 different spikes.
You know what this reminds me of?
They could be saying infinite different things.
It reminds me of Arrival, the Denis Villeneuve film that Brian probably hasn't seen because he doesn't like movies. But
oh my God,
episode
Brian,
1 on the new movie pod.
Dude, you gotta watch it.
It's
ASAP.
incredible. It's incredible. It's the whole movie is about these like cephalopod aliens that land on Earth at like several key areas in several continents, and they hire a linguist to try to get in there to try and figure out like what their language is or what it is that they're saying. And it's a really beautiful, fucked up, weird,
very mind-bending,
cool, mind-bending sci-fi. But how cool would it be, like, in like 50 years if we just like if there was like a fungus like option on Google Translate? Like you write in like ow my I stubbed my toe, and then it tells you how you could say that to
it just gives you a graph.
I mean, there could
be.
Hey,
is it okay if I pick you and eat you so I trip fucking balls? And then you can just and then you go up to a mushroom, you go,
and it would say no.
and then the mushroom, you gotta like wait. Mushroom kind of like says something back.
But the interesting thing is that you could make sounds out of that by taking the electrical impulses and just putting it into like a wave.
Yeah.
And you could hear what they're saying.
What do you think they'd sound like?
I think you did a really great impression of what they might sound.
I think like something like.
Ew. Oh, I don't like it. Why do they sound? Why does it sound like fucking mukbang
because
ASMR?
That's the sound of growing.
I think that's it, Brian. Yeah. That's what mushrooms sound like.
No, dude, it's too human-like. It's too. You're just humanoiding them.
What if they were like this?
Those are the things from Arrival.
Yeah, right.
That's some nicer ASMR for me.
This is so good for the ears.
Here's another cool one. Thanks again, Stina. You're just coming through with all the goods. This is I Feel Attacked. Survey links dark tetrad personality traits like narcissism to buying crypto.
Hold on, say that again. Yeah. Personal point of privilege.
Survey links dark tetrad personality traits like narcissism and others to buying crypto. Okay, so Bitcoin, or I think everyone's pretty familiar with the word at least. It was invented back in 2009 as a global cryptocurrency. It's grown from nothing to a value of around $2 trillion US.
Really just going up. Like everybody's got to get on.
Yeah, in 2011, it was $1 US. Today, it sits around $42,000 for one Bitcoin. so this research group conducted a survey to find out, in particularly, they wanted to know about the relationship between the so-called dark tetrad personality traits and attitudes towards cryptocurrency. So the dark tetrad in psychology, it refers to a group of 4 personality traits. So here they are. There's Machiavellianism, narcissism, psychopathy, and sadism. They are called dark because of their evil qualities, extreme selfishness, taking advantage of others without empathy. The dark tetrad are also often related to risk-taking behaviors. So they identified 2 main areas of appeal. First, the high risks and the high potential returns of crypto, which make it attractive to the kind of people who like gambling. Second, cryptocurrencies are not issued or backed by governments like traditional or fiat currencies, and this makes them more attractive to people who have a distrust the government.
Yeah, fuck the man.
So what are the personalities of crypto buyers? Well, they asked 566 people to complete an online personality survey, as well as answer questions about their attitudes to crypto and whether or not they plan to invest in it. And out of those 566, 26% reported that they own crypto, and 64% showed interest in investing in crypto. We measured their dark tetrad traits using standard psychological tests. They also measured traits that might connect the dark tetrad to judgments about crypto. So things like FOMO, the fear of missing out, positivity, the tendency to be positive or optimistic in life, and their belief in conspiracy theories. So why do people want to buy crypto? It's not just about making money, right? So a common reason to invest in crypto is the hope of earning high returns. Beyond the desire to build wealth, our research shows dark personality traits also drive crypto buying. Machiavellianism is named after the Italian political philosophy of Niccolò Machiavelli. People who rate highly on this trait are good at deception and interpersonal manipulation. Sounds like Taylor. Machiavellians take a calculated approach to achieving goals and avoid impulsive decisions. They are less likely to engage in problem gambling. Machiavellians also tend to believe strongly in government conspiracies. Also sounds like Taylor.
It does, yeah.
For example, they often believe politicians usually do not reveal their true motives and that government agencies closely monitor all citizens. Kind of funny how Taylor just bought a truck recently and wanted us to all go on a fucking road trip a month ago. We found out Machiavellianism. We found out Machiavellians like crypto primarily because they distrust politicians and government agencies. Many crypto supporters believe governments are corrupt, and crypto avoids government corruption. Overconfidence and positivity. So narcissism is a self-centered personality trait characterized by feelings of privilege and predominance over others. Also sounds like someone I know. Narcissists are overconfident and more willing to do things like make risky investments in the stock market and gamble. Narcissists tend to focus on the positive side of life. We found narcissists like crypto because of their great faith in the future and because of their confidence in their own that their own lives will improve. Impulsive psychopaths like crypto. So psychopathy is a callous, impulsive, antisocial personality trait. Psychopathic people often find it difficult to perceive, understand, or address emotions due to a lack of emotional intelligence and empathy. Funny, you're not here right now, Taylor. But
say
anyway.
less.
The reckless nature of psychopaths make them more resistant to stress and anxiety. As a result, psychopaths like stimulation seeking and risk taking. They are prone to gambling and gambling addiction. We found that impulsive psychopaths like crypto because they fear missing out on investing rewards that others are experiencing. Now, how is sadism involved? Everyday sadism relates to a personality enjoying another's suffering. Sadists often display aggression and cruel behaviors.
Wow. That does sound like somebody we know.
For example, sadists troll others on the internet for enjoyment, Taylor's favorite pastime. At first glance, buying crypto is unlikely to harm others. However, we found sadists like crypto because they do not want to miss out on investment rewards either. To them, perhaps both the pleasure from seeing another's pain and the fear of missing out are related to selfishness. Unlike narcissists, we found both psychopaths and sadists lack positivity about their prospects, which cancels out their liking of crypto. So Interesting. From a psychological lens here, studying cryptocurrency through the psychological lens of the dark tetrad offers insight into why people want to buy crypto. We are not suggesting that everyone interested in crypto displays dark tetrad traits. And we studied only a subset of people interested in crypto who do have these traits. If you happen to be a Bitcoin or other crypto holder, you may not exhibit them. So I figured, because Brian and I, we both have a little bit of investment in crypto. Taylor, you do not, but you also invest in the traditional market.
I struggle to call it an investment.
Well, we're going to find out about where we all sit here. So I sent you all a...
You've gone to the casino with cryptos.
This is a 27 question survey, and we're going to find out who truly, after all the noise, after all the accusations of Taylor being the psychopath out of all of us, we're going to find out really who is a part of this tetrad. So the first question is...
We should answer these for you. We should help each other answer too.
No. You got to answer by yourself. It's not wise to tell your secrets. So we've got agree, slightly agree, neutral, slightly disagree, and disagree. So it is not wise to tell your secrets. You guys let me know when you've answered that.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Tay, you got that one? All right. People see me as a natural leader. I answered that one really quickly.
Yeah, I did too.
I like to get revenge on authorities.
I answered that
I answered that really quick too.
I'm good.
I like to use clever manipulation to get my way.
Here's $20 to buy crypto. I got a notification.
I like to use clever manipulation to get my way.
Yeah, I'm good.
I hate being the center of attention.
Good.
I avoid dangerous situations.
Good.
Guys, I don't feel good about this. Whatever it takes, you must get the important people on your side.
Good.
Many group activities tend to be dull without me.
Dude, this is insane. That's an insane question.
Yeah, but the insane thing is how you answer it.
I didn't what agree.
I said slightly agree. Yeah. I was like, yeah, it's fucking just boring without me. Payback.
Wow.
Payback needs to be quick and nasty.
Oh my Lord.
No, I believe that it has to be long and painful.
Long and painful. Avoid direct conflict with others because they may be useful in the future.
Well, that's Machiavellian, right? That to a fucking T. Avoid direct conflict with others because they may be useful in the future.
See, I also work in data and surveying, and a question like this is actually really hard for people, the general population, to answer, because avoid direct conflict with others is one idea.
Yeah.
Because they may be useful in the future is another idea. So like,
but it's like you're gonna think about this like avoid conflict with others. Well, yeah, of course, no one wants conflict.
Yeah.
But then it's like,
because they might be useful,
because you might want to use them.
Just in survey question design, because it's presenting two ideas and trying to get you to think about it that way.
And even though I'm answering them truthfully, I'm looking at them and going, the answer that I should choose is obvious too.
Yeah. So I mean, sometimes. I know that I am special because everyone keeps telling me so. Guys, I really don't want to know what this is going to tell me. People often say I'm out of control.
Does this apply to my whole life or only my recent past?
It's wise to keep track of information that you can use against other people later.
Oh my God.
Wow. Jesus Christ.
See, like that question though too, it's like, is it wise to remember things about people? It's nice to remember things about people so you can use it against them later.
It's definitely wise. It's definitely wise to keep it in mind so that you can fuck with them. You know? I like to get acquainted with important people. It's true that I can be mean to others. You should wait for the right time to get back at people.
Of course you should.
Oh my God.
I mean, is there ever a wrong
yeah.
time?
Yeah.
I feel embarrassed if someone compliments me. I actually do.
Yeah, same.
People who mess with me always regret it. I know what Taylor's saying on that one.
Agree.
There are things you should hide from other people because they don't need to know. I have been compared to famous people. I have never gotten into trouble with the law.
That's an easy one.
Make sure your plans benefit you, not others.
My therapist would say that's important. Set boundaries.
I am an average person. I enjoy having sex with people I hardly know. What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, right.
Oh, fuck, I feel attacked again.
Oh, that's a very what's his name? It's very Freudian, I bet. Like,
most
oh.
people can be manipulated.
See, that's like is that a philosophical question or is that
right.
I believe I can
Yeah,
right.
right,
Because I agree with that.
Yeah, same. I insist on getting the respect I deserve.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude.
I'll say anything to get what I want. And that's the last one. All right. So now it should say get results.
Oh, now we have to pay for our results.
No, you don't. Oh no.
What's the score?
Okay, so scores on each scale are reported here from 1, which is low, to 5, which is high. This is how scores were reported in the original article that introduced the SD3, but they are sometimes reported in other ways. Example 0 to 4% of maximum. To help interpret the scores, percentiles relative to other people who have used this website and U.S. adults. So you've got Machiavellianism with a score, Narcissism with a score, and Psychopathy with a score. Again, 1 is low, 5 is high. Okay. Oh man, guys, I don't want to say it. So a weighted average of these samples produce the following norms. So the mean score for Machiavellianism is 2.96. The mean score for Narcissism is 2.97. And the mean score for Psychopathy is 2.09.
2.09?
2.09, yeah. Oh. So what do you guys got?
I am
Machiavellianism.
I'm about the mean. I'm a 3.1 Machiavellianism. I'm a 2.1 Narcissism.
Wait, you said about the mean on it? Let's just start at the first one first.
Yeah. Machiavellianism. So, Tay, what's your score?
3.1.
Bri, what's yours?
2.4.
Mine's 2.7.
Yeah.
All right. So Taylor's a bit of a Machiavellian.
Wait,
he's more Machiavellian than
what was the mean?
You. The mean for that one is 2.96.
Okay. So Taylor's above, we're below.
We're below, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so Narcissism.
I'm a little bit more narcissistic.
Tay, what's your narcissism?
2.1.
Okay.
Oh, I'm a 3.
I'm a 3.8. And the mean is 2.97.
Yeah, I'm right on the mean for that one, basically.
Okay, and then Psychopathy. This is the one I wanted to know. All right, Tay, you don't say it. Bri, what are you?
2.9.
Oh, I'm 2.6. Tay?
2.
Whoa, I'm the biggest psychopath.
Bri's a psychopath.
And I'm significantly higher than the mean, too.
Yeah, the mean for that was 2.09. Wow,
Sorry,
Bri.
guys,
I want to go back and see what questions.
Going back to the the crypto thing, like from my perspective, that it makes a lot of sense because there is so much uncertainty in crypto. I mean, like, it's not even fair. Like, it's in terms of crypto gets grouped into the folder of investing.
We're gonna be stuck here for fucking hours.
No. I'm gonna be quick. And because it does, there becomes like a level of certainty of, what has happened in the past will continue to happen in the future. It's the hot hand fallacy. And I mean, it's just so uncertain. There's no metric that you can apply to it to draw out any level of certainty of any kind on any time scale. But being narcissistic, there is an inherent sense of surety that somebody has, of assuredness that somebody has when they're narcissistic, and that if you think a way about something, then it is more likely to be true because you think it. Yeah. So that makes a lot of the whole narcissism thing in crypto. I mean, I guess you could apply that to anything, but it makes sense for crypto in a space where something is so uncertain.
Yeah.
It's interesting because we were each higher in one of the categories.
Yes. I'm the narcissist, Tay's the Machiavellian, and you're the psychopath.
But
that makes a lot of sense to me. The psychopath thing surprises me, but
it's to me it was
I know
the
I'm a fucking
high,
narcissist.
so I'm just reading through now. It's the high impulsivity thing for me is definitely the thing that triggered me more.
Yeah.
Because it's also low empathy.
You're like you just might have an impulse to like cut off someone's legs and then then just like bury them in your backyard, and then they do that again and again and again and again. And
I mean,
again,
psychopath is the trait that's most closely connected to criminal behavior.
Yes.
So that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, let's move right on to this week's edition of What the Hell? Have you guys ever heard of Plicae Fimbriate?
Yeah.
Plicae Fimbriate refers to the small folds in the membrane on the underside of your tongue. Under here. The folds tend to run parallel to and on either side of your frenulum. So the frenulum is a little like that little web at the bottom of your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
The frenulum is the web tissue that connects your tongue to the bottom of your mouth. These growths are harmless. They are normal residual tissue, not completely reabsorbed by the body during the development and growth of the tongue. Sometimes these pieces of tissue can get caught in your teeth, and if one of these bumps comes off, it can leave an open sore, which is vulnerable to infection. You guys ready to see what this looks like?
No. I've had those. Are they like the little pimply?
No.
Are they the little pimply things?
No, that can way different, dude. They're this.
I don't like.
Whoa.
Dude, that's like a lizard tongue. It's like
it looks like something out of the sea.
Yeah. I've had those before. Just really small.
Dude, look at these.
What do you do with them?
You just leave them.
They're like skin tags.
No, you need to cut them off.
Look at those. They look like stalagmites.
Yeah, they do.
Whoa.
Look at that one. It's so metal. That's fucking
metal. If you're
metal,
just listening to this, definitely do yourself a favor.
Definitely go to YouTube and check this out. These pictures are fucking wild. This one just blows my mind though. Like, dude, that looks like body modification. Like that looks like someone did that. You know?
Looks like what's his name?
Yeah, the
French
Alien
guy.
Project.
Would that catch you off guard on a first date?
Well,
if
actually,
somebody went to kiss you and had that.
That was my question to you guys. Would you make out with a tongue like that?
Sure.
Would you like?
Am I getting an infection?
No. But like, would you try to lick it? Like,
sure, yeah. I've always found that the underside of the tongue is much more pleasant.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Much smoother.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I do love a little bit of tongue hockey, you know?
Yeah.
Like a little bit of tongue, like laser, like tongue, like lightsaber battle.
Yeah.
And this, I don't know how I'd feel about it.
Well, it would certainly be a boss fight.
Yeah. I mean, how weird would that feel? Like running your tongue up these little tongue tails?
Yeah, that's a Bowser tongue.
Oh, yeah, that is the fucking final boss.
I mean, yeah, I'm not sure if it would be my thing, but you know.
Hey, there's a thing for everyone. There's a lid for every pot.
I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be your thing.
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't have to be.
It could just be okay.
Well, folks, thanks for tuning in. This has been a really fun episode. Hope you enjoyed that. Big thank you to Stina and Jill for pumping us with the goods this week. You guys get this week's Line Producer Award of the Week. Congratulations. And
guys, this is a great idea. We should be giving this out every week.
Yeah, so you get Producer of the Week award. And hey, if you want to support the podcast, you can do what Jill and Stina have done. Join the Discord. Again, the link is in the description of the episode. And if you want to support the podcast further, leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. And if you use Spotify and you've listened to the episode enough, you can leave a rating on the Spotify app. We'd love that. And that's all I got to say about that.
And, once again, we have talked out of our asses for an hour and no doubt said many things factually incorrect. And if any of those things rubbed you the wrong way and you'd like to tell us what they were and why they're wrong, or they were right, and you want to applaud us for knowing something like that, then you can do that by sending us a letter to letters@sickboypodcast.com. And if you want to be a guest on the show, go to sickboypodcast.com/contact.
And if you made it this far in the show, you may be a YouTube viewer, and if you are, you would notice that I have had my headphones duct taped to my head the entire time. So
you sure did.
We're looking to get some new headphones, so feel free to support us on Patreon. And a huge thanks to our manager Jeff Lonis and to Rich O'Coin for the theme music.
That is it for this week.
I'm Brian.
I'm Taylor.
And I'm Jeremie, and this is Sick Boy.